I've never really associated sports with nerdiness, but you both sound like complete nerds.
It's funny. I grew up a hockey fan, which is a much faster paced sport, and that's
Yes, I've got a whole skit prepared for today as we launch into this awesome success talk. So, Alyssa, thank you so much for joining us.
thanks so much for having me.
Yeah. So we always start just a little bit about like, would love just to understand, forget Avery, forget your awesome career. It's just, who are you? Like just get to know you, understand you a little bit, kind of like your journey. Would just to love to listen and learn a little bit more about Alyssa.
Yeah, I mean, career aside, I would say the biggest kind of piece of my identity that has shifted over the last year or so is that I'm a new mom. I had a baby about 8 months ago, so that certainly kind of shifts everything into place in different ways. So I would say that's definitely kind of the biggest thing about who I am. Back to the kind of career part a little bit. I started in marketing. I was working in agencies, account management, marketing generalist, kind of all of those things, and have taken kind of an interesting winding path to customer success.
So we came to know you through like we are a startup and we were looking for help in marketing, but clearly not ready to hire full-time people. Total cold outreach by your CEO Zach, like struck a chord, kind of one of those right time, right moment at the right time, and so we've been leveraging, starting with your services company, and now transitioning to software. And so would love to hear a little bit about the Avery journey, because this whole software services as software is blowing up, and y'all are right in the middle of it. So would love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. And a journey it's been for sure. I have been working with our CEO, Zach, for about 5 years. Like you said, kind of various iterations of where we've landed now. Basically, Avery, just to kind of set it up, is sort of an all-in-one marketing workspace where you can work with our next-gen AI purpose built for supporting marketers and also the non-marketers who have marketing on their plate, and kind of pair it with an ecosystem of top marketing experts in any area of marketing that you can imagine, super highly skilled, super highly vetted to basically accomplish anything that you need, sort of all in one marketing tool. So, yeah, we have been over the past many years kind of building up this ecosystem of top marketing experts. Like I said, any area of marketing you can imagine, as you know, from strategy to SEO to designers to absolutely anything that you may need help kind of filling gaps on your team or anything like that. Certainly, a lot of startups and even a lot of larger companies need marketing help and don't want to go the route of traditional full-time hiring. If you can get the best of the best in something fractional, kind of no reason to not go that way and sort of pick and choose your team and use them when you need to. And it's super, super flexible in that way. So yeah, we've built up this incredible marketplace of these awesome experts. They are highly curated, invite only marketplace. We have a full vetting process, which basically multi step vetting process. We have a head of marketplace and kind of our entire operations team who is vetting these people. We all hop on calls with experts before they join our marketplace because we want to make sure that anybody we may introduce you to is going to be fantastic. So yeah, it's that kind of talent marketplace alongside this really powerful AI that we have. We kind of hope that this is like the marketing tool that marketers and, like I said, non-marketers that somehow marketing has landed on their desk can kind of come to use one tool to do it all. Exactly. Yes, you are definitely not alone in that.
Yeah, very cool. Um, so all that said, and y'all do, I'm sure, an incredible job of curating and finding these people. But at the end of the day, they're humans, and you have
Yes.
customers, and they interact with Avery now, the software platform, and then augment that with humans that you pair them with for discrete needs. But by definition, human interaction sometimes just doesn't go well. So how do you deal with that from a success lens of, because you have a really unique success role, like you've got a I'm sure people are giving you feedback all the time on Avery, the software product, but they're also calling you and saying, you know what, Johnny wasn't that great at, design or whatever, like someone, asked for. So how do you think about that? That's really different, relative to kind of like just pure software success.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really complex, right? And I mean, my personal sort of bias is to just jump in like one on one and fix everybody's problems and everything like that. But obviously, when you're building a success department that can scale up to hundreds and thousands of these individual jobs, that's certainly not something that we can do. We want to basically just empower both sides, the customer and our experts, to just have open communication. In a lot of cases things can be solved by just having a conversation. I think a lot of things, tone can be lost in emails or Slack messages or anything like that, or thousands of iterations of something. We want to basically arm both sides with resources and the ability to just kind of talk it out. We feel really strongly that we're bringing on users that are smart and kind and want to work with people and want to have successful projects. And same thing on the expert side. We're bringing people on. Kind of one of the big facets that we look for in experts that we bring into our marketplace are they a joy to work with? Like, not only are they skilled at what they do, are they a good value for the cost, but are they this kind of qualitative joy to work with, right? Do they show up to calls when they say they're going to? Are they a valuable member of your team? Are you learning things when you work with them? Do they communicate with you openly? When you do run into something that you butt heads over, is it something that you can talk through? So we're sort of actively kind of recruiting for that on the expert side of things. But yeah, it's certainly a challenge, and it's been a fun challenge to solve, to understand what are those resources and sort of what are those scalable systems that we can put in place to do this over thousands of jobs.
So do you have a metric around like joy to work with that the success team manages or something like that? Like I'd love to just like, how do you said that you obviously want to bring people like that on, but maybe people, when I
Yeah,
first started working with Port, I thought he was a joy to work with, and now I know that he's not much joy to work with. So his rating went quite badly down. But like, so do you guys monitor that in terms of joy to work with?
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So that is it's one of our three key kind of pillars of expert feedback. When you are working with an expert on a job, we're asking users to kind of give us feedback and at regular intervals and at the end of each project. And those three things, like I said, are they skilled at what they do? If they're a design expert, are they a great designer? Is the value for the cost there? Do you feel like you're getting your money's worth for what you are paying for them? And the third thing is just, are they a joy to work with? And sometimes we put some walls around that and kind of say the things that I said before of what is that? But I'm really just kind of curious, like, what does that mean to you, the customer? Are they a joy to work with? Do you like having them on your team? Are they someone that you enjoy talking to, or do you absolutely dread getting on a call with them?
Yeah, it's interesting. I keep thinking about the sort of human side. I guess in software, obviously the software can't tell you, hey, feels like at this company they're not really liking me very much, so I think I'm gonna like the software doesn't talk to you like that.
Yeah,
Whereas, like I guess
yeah,
your
definitely.
product, not to talk about people's products, but it's kind of like could actually go. And we're having some tough calls. They seem to be having some financial, like they're almost like your arms and your ears and eyes in the accounts. That's a super
Exactly.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
for
love that.
sure. And as much as in success you want to find kind of customer champions and things like that, we also want to do that on the expert side of things. We want to have a really strong community. We want the people who work as Avery experts. I want that as something that they're proud of and something that they want to come to us over maybe another marketplace or something else, another place that they might find work, because we are, kind of, we're leaning on them to be our eyes and ears. We are engaging with them and kind of taking their feedback in as well, just to make sure that we're the best, marketplace for them as well.
So to see Avery itself, like your own product, is that kind of a success platform for humans? Is that one way to kind of think about it? Like, because I guess you've probably built a lot of, have you built a lot of that into your product? What sort of tools do you use to help manage this? Just making sure that you are delivering successful joy to work with people into accounts is, yeah, would you say
Yeah,
that's, yeah.
It's really interesting. We are kind of in the stage where we've been able to do the things that are not always scalable to build the foundations for the systems that will one day be scalable. So that's we are super fortunate to be in that place. And like I said, I've kind of been in this sort of business for quite a while, as have a few other people on our founding team. So I a lot of it is gut, right? I mean, like a lot of it is just kind of we hop on calls with every single expert that's joining our marketplace, and we want to make sure that that conversation is not only do they have a great communication style, but do they feel excited about what we're doing here? Are they curious? Are they asking questions of us as well as us asking questions of them? I think there's kind of really interesting little early indicators of are they a joy to work with. And the other thing I would say is we have a really strong kind of hell yes or no policy that if we speak to someone or we see someone's work and we're like, oh, I don't know, they could be good for something like that. If we get on a call with them and they are not an immediate hell yes, they are ousted.
It's funny actually you should say that. That was one of the, not to name drop, but I was having a dinner thing with Aaron Levy of Box, and
Nice.
there was 12 of us. It wasn't just him and I, but we were sort of chatting a little bit, and he was saying that really consistently they found at Box they have a similar view of like, hey, they really have to feel good about the person. He said literally every single time somebody has raised, I have actually some sort of concern in this area. And he said almost always that person ends up being kind of not as good a
Yeah.
hire as they would have hoped. And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do it internally for all of our team as well, but to kind of extend that out to our thousands of expert marketers, it's been a challenge to kind of build out that system a bit. I mean, we are certainly going the extra mile to vet these people and make sure that we feel really confident in everybody we have in our marketplace, but it's extremely worthwhile.
Yeah, that's I
cool.
love that. Yeah. When I started in consulting, and it was for a firm that was just absolutely exploding, and we needed just people. We were all like literally killing ourselves 80 hours a week, and Fridays were interview days, and but it had to be 100% consensus. And
Yeah.
you were talking about between six, eight, could be 10 people that were on an interview panel. And it was just like it was like gut wrenching because all it took was one thumbs down and the person
Yeah.
didn't get the offer. But but HR was like it literally is 100% proven that if we don't do this, it's almost never worked out when we've
Yeah.
like bent the rules. So that's I love it.
Oh yeah, and we've been down that road as well where we just oh god, there's, so many requests and we need new people and all this stuff and we've tried to bend our rules before and we are burned every single time. So now we have really strict system where absolutely every single person in our marketplace has been through this multi-step process and they have gotten an absolute hell yes from someone on our team who's been doing this for a very long time.
So when you think about the team, I guess around like making Avery successful and all that kind of stuff, and like making sure that you have a great product, I still feel weird referring to a human as a product, but like, uh, like how do you think about hiring? Like who do you bring in? Because obviously we hear a lot in the success industry that people are often coming from different facets of careers and backgrounds. I mean, do you sort of look at a particular background more favorably, or do you just? I'm just curious to hear how you think about hiring your own
In
people.
terms of like the expert side of things.
No, with people who get hired at Avery to help
Oh
kind
yeah,
of make ensure,
definitely.
yeah.
Yeah. And our head of people who is hiring everybody could certainly have, a better answer to this, but I think something that's really interesting is along with that sort of hell yes or no, a lot of us who are currently in these roles and in these seats have kind of started with other backgrounds and have sort of shifted throughout their time with the company and sort of landed in the right places at the right time, not necessarily being hired. Actually, I think most of us on the founding team were not hired for the thing that we have ended up in. And I can certainly let you know that, like, everyone right now, every butt is in the right seats for sure. And I think our head of people and our CEO have done a really great job of finding those little qualitative things that maybe they don't have the 100% correct background to be XYZ job title, but just kind of scrappy, willing to jump in and do things that aren't, in their job description. Every single person on this team is incredibly collaborative. I don't think anybody says no to anything. Anybody can raise their hand and say, I need help. Hey, you have this, a unique skill set. Can you help me? I'm out of bandwidth, please, SOS. And I don't think anybody's ever said no. So I think to me, that's kind of the number one thing that we probably look for in hiring people is just, are you excited about what we're doing, and like are you here to just collaborate and work outside your role and just get it done?
No, I love that. Yeah, I wish Steve would collaborate more with me. Great. Um, um,
I
but
try not
I
to.
guess one other interesting, and I want to get to like some of the software parts of Avery.
Yeah.
Kind of I've been on my exploratory journey with your product.
Yeah.
But maybe to wrap up the human element of what y'all do, like I'm curious because, well, like I know my experience, right? Like with contractors, 99% of the time, the feedback I've given has been to their employer.
Yes.
So, like, and I know in consulting, when I was in consulting, which is a little bit of a similar vein, like the feedback I would get from the client would, because I was right out of college, would be through my manager, through the
Yeah.
partner, when you're doing your review sessions and getting, but it was never direct. So
Sure.
like, how does that work in your model? Because I'm assuming like people like me, like your customers come to probably you to
Mhm.
give you feedback, and then both good and bad, it'd be great to get that to the contractors. How does that work? Because that's just a really unique part of like what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of the big shift we've made there is it's all going to kind of work through the platform. So, in 2 week intervals or month intervals or something like that, and then certainly at the end of every project, we would kind of ask for feedback on your experts and sort of study those trends over time. That feedback that you give is then goes on the public profiles of each of those experts. So when they are looking to be matched to other jobs and anything like that, they certainly have visibility into that feedback because it will be public. So certainly, feedback is the number one way for us to keep our marketplace healthy and make sure that we have the right people on the right jobs. And then the other kind of really interesting piece of it is that experts can request feedback of their customers. So say they are, and this is from like a system level, in like a very official way, they can request that you sort of submit one of those feedback forms at any time. But like I said, also, we just want to encourage great customers and great experts to work together. And I would hope that, if you had any pressing feedback, that you would pass it on to your freelancers directly if it was holding you up or anything like that. And same thing, vice versa. If someone's working on your team and they're thinking, wow, I'd really like to get this done a little bit differently, or this would really help speed this up. Like I would hope that they would go directly to you. And our job is really just to connect the right people with the right freelancers and make sure those jobs happen and just sort of give you the platform, the resources, the support to really work that out mostly between the two of you.
Very cool. Um, so talk a little bit about like Avery, the software product, and kind of the genesis, and because my words is as I've started to explore it, which is another unique aspect. It's effectively learning, and learning about Noted and becoming a collaborative AI kind of driven engine is I want to explore different topics, and you've got that entire library of effectively, you know, AI topics and effectively prompts that I can, literally start collaborating with to really start driving things we're doing from a marketing perspective. So like the product seems like very, very like it's effectively like I look at it as almost like an AI driven CMO
Yeah,
to a large degree that I'm now
100%.
collaborating with. So would love to hear about the genesis of Avery, and then I've got a follow up question on, because the other unique aspect is doesn't that start to eat into some of the contractors that you're like that are also behind Avery? So it's this really unique moment.
Yeah. And I love that question. It's my favorite question to
Yeah.
answer. So yeah, you're 100% right. I mean, Avery was built as AI for marketers, and there's a lot of great things that we already have built in, kind of what you were referring to, the idea of the brand core, which is where you kind of put in all your brand and business information so that Avery can get trained on exactly who you're speaking to, what you're speaking about, what are your goals, your mission, vision, values, all of that good stuff, as well as kind of the training section where you can let Avery know about what you're currently working on in marketing, what are your marketing goals, what's your marketing budget. You can upload any documents, things like that, so that it's basically like if you were to bring on a marketing hire to your team, you would give them all of this information and you would say, okay, great, here's the direction that we need to be heading in. Here is all of the context that you need to be working with me, right? So you can ask Avery anything. We have a huge library of suggested prompts to kind of get you started in all areas of marketing. We have these great things that we've been working on called the adventure cards down at the bottom of the screen, where they're basically prompt starters. So, we noticed a bunch of people were really excited about coming into the product, but then they would just sort of not really know how to get started, sort of that like blank page kind of situation. So these are just kind of a few different ways that you can start conversations with Avery. So it's more of a proactive experience rather than just a reactive experience. And then, yeah, to address your question, our mission is very clear and very strong that we have built AI to amplify marketers and not replace them. We really want to use AI to unlock more time, more momentum, and make things move more quickly and just unlock more of what marketers got into marketing for in the first place, which is the fun stuff, the stuff that only they can do, the creativity. Let's automate the things that we can automate to just sort of save everyone some time, some bandwidth, some heartache at the end of the day, and have people kind of focus on the things that that only they can do and the things that they're really excited about, that creativity, that insight, that expertise, that you are probably never going to get from AI. So yeah, that's my favorite question to answer. Is sure, some things will get replaced. Maybe maybe you start a draft for particular content or something like that, but we feel like there are most really areas of marketing where AI is really only going to get you so far, because the best marketers that any of us know are the people who have lived experience, who have done this forever, who have creativity that a machine is never going to be able to replicate.
Well, would love to hear your perspectives about like any early feedback you're getting from customers, like specifically to the AI aspect, and
Mhm.
what you're seeing as the good parts and the bad parts and things that Avery's working on, as y'all kind of continue on your journey of launching the company, but also this AI journey that we're all on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, feedback is like the engine right now. We have been building this for such a long time in stealth. We launched last October. And to finally have people on the platform that are using it in their workflows, like that feedback, as you guys know, is completely invaluable. People are coming to us with things that we never would have expected or stumbled upon ourselves. So feedback is absolutely everything for everybody out there listening. If you're using Avery, please let us know feedback. We want absolutely everything. We are all ears. Yeah, I think we're working on a lot of really cool stuff on the AI side of things. We really want to differentiate ourselves from some of the big players out there. There's certain other platforms that you could do a lot of great things, but we really want to be sort of the AI for marketing, and not just the AI for marketing, but like the entire workspace for marketing, that you can do absolutely anything you want to do, where some of these other platforms, all you can do is AI. So in our mind, it's really about kind of pulling together that whole marketing workspace, that, yeah, we have a fantastic AI that continues to get better and continues to get more competitive with the things that you can do and how you can build and edit and update content of all different kinds. But then also, you're just going to hit some guardrails at a certain point where AI isn't the only thing to really get it done. So we can also introduce you to the best people who can.
Makes a ton of sense. Yeah. So would you say that, are you, in terms of the work you're doing with AI, is there any work you're doing outside of Avery, the product, where you're using AI in sort of interesting ways that it's not going into the product, but more actually just helping accelerate your company in certain ways? Are there any use cases that you have along those lines?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have very strong feelings about AI in customer support and success. I am building this up to be very human first when it comes to support and success in Avery. I'm sure as you guys have experienced, myself as a user trying to interact with chatbots or AI agents or anything like that, when you really just need a person to ask a question to, and I absolutely cannot stand it. So I think kind of biggest use case for AI in what I do every day is really to just kind of speed things up, support our internal team. It's really, really important to me that when you reach out to Averi, you get a person on the other side, because I very much believe that our users are very smart, they're savvy, they are probably looking through all the documentation if they have a question. They've probably done all the things that, all the clear things that they could try if they run into a challenge. And if they are reaching out with a question, chances are they really need to talk to a person. So I want to make sure that it is a person on our end. But kind of back to your question, yeah, I use AI a lot. Just kind of speed things up internally, right? I mean, identifying churn risks, identifying upsell opportunities, speeding up responses, things like that. But I promise it is always a person answering everything that someone writes in about.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's very similar to what we're doing as well. It's that kind of sense of just like let's speed up the stuff that the humans don't particularly want to do, or are taking humans away from doing the human work.
Yeah.
And so I think, yeah, we're very similarly. It's interesting to hear your story, because hear a lot of like what we're doing is very much reflect different market, obviously, but
Yeah.
similar values.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Definitely
Cool.
aligned on that front.
Well, it's like, so in success, I know that I don't know whether to define your role exactly as success, but or maybe in the market you're in, are there any topics you think aren't being talked about enough with respect to AI, or then anything in there that you sort of think, yeah, I wish we were spending more time learning a bit more about that, or talking a bit more about that? Anything that comes to that front?
Yeah, I mean, I think I mean kind of alongside what we were just talking about is just using it more to support the people. I think it's really great at ingesting data and understanding trends and things like that. And I think it's the most useful when it comes to, oh God, we're getting so much feedback and so much data and so much input, and here's where people are dropping off in our onboarding flow and all of those things. I think it's just really about arming the people who can best take action on it.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, so we have maybe one final question to hit you with, which is not not necessarily related to anything AI, but is there
Mhm.
anything that you're nerding out on outside of work that's kind of got you studiously thinking about, that's kind of maybe a little nerdy, doesn't have to be nerdy?
Yeah, I have a very unexpected answer to this. So my my husband is a baseball fan, and for many years I thought it was just like watching paint dry. I was like, how are you watching this for 3 hours every single night? I don't understand. It is so unrelenting. It's on every single day, and he made me kind of understand it a little bit differently about what a technical game it is and the different rules and the character between all of the different stadiums are all a different size, a different shape. It's such an interesting, kind of intricate game that you don't necessarily see at face value. And particularly, I am nerding out about pitching. I think pitching is so interesting, how the tiniest little change in the way that a pitcher holds a ball or torques their arm or whatever makes a pitch do something crazy that you could never expect. You take, kind of a 10,000-foot look at it and it looks like they're just ripping it out there, but there's just these tiny little changes that they're making that is just like completely changing the game. And I'm sure that there's a lesson in there somewhere, but that's kind of what I'm nerding out about right now.
Very
That's
cool.
funny. I
Very
know
cool.
absolutely nothing about sports, so
Yeah.
maybe I need to like
Yeah.
listen to you a little bit more and as understanding. Because yeah, for me, paint is sorry, baseball is like watching paint dry.
It
So maybe
is. It
I'm
is.
just not seeing it.
I find myself asking so many questions, and the rules are so intricate, and there's so many different little things about it that, like, when you dig in, it's so interesting. But yeah, it certainly seems quite boring at the surface.
Yeah,
That is,
that's right.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Steve literally knows nothing about sports, but yeah. Well, and well, then I would recommend. There's a documentary on. I grew up in Atlanta, and during the this run that the Braves had, but they had one of the greatest pitching staffs ever, and it is fascinating to listen to Greg Maddox and Tom Glavine and John Smoltz talk about like effectively the science
I
of,
love that.
of
I've
pitching.
actually been
It is
looking for a
it
documentary
is
on it.
fascinating, and it's I don't know what it's on, but anyways, I would strongly recommend it and how they think about it and the studying that went into understanding who they were pitching against. It's
Yes.
like it's incredibly intricate, and it takes something that does seem kind of very basic and boring to a
Yeah.
lot of people, and there's a lot more science to it than I think people, and I think that's kind of continued to evolve now, even into a lot of the ways they actually use like legitimate science to think.
Yeah.
I've
Please
never
pass on that.
associated.
Please
Yeah,
pass on that documentary. I have been actively looking for a documentary about this and I can't seem to find. We've been down like YouTube rabbit holes and I can't seem to get the right information that I'm looking for.
that's crazy. I've never really associated sports with nerdiness, but you both sound like complete nerds.
It's funny. I grew up a hockey fan, which is a much faster paced sport, and that's kind of always what I've measured a baseball up against, really. And it's a completely different situation because it's so nuanced and it's so there's so much like character in the different rules and everything. Totally different game.
Cool. That's awesome. Well, cool.
Well, look, thank
Appreciate
you,
the time.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, so much for doing
Yeah,
this.
of course. This
It's
is
been a great
fun.
discussion. Yeah.
Awesome.
And